then there's a disparity when it comes to creative arts. In any form of performance or performative art, you have like that 1% that makes like a shitload of money, and then you have
Yeah.
like everyone else who just makes barely enough.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for agreeing to this. I really appreciate it.
No
So,
worries, man. No worries, man. This is a small thing, small thing.
okay, why don't you just like introduce yourself a little bit, like what you do, who you are, what you do.
Okay, my name is Edward. I'm actually a content creator. I'm a self-employed content creator. Previously, I was working full-time as a DJ. I was DJing in clubs. I was DJing in festivals. I've been touring. Right before this whole thing started, actually had a tour in the US set up, but then this set
Oh,
that into threw a wrench in my plans. So now the money's gone, and I am struggling. I'm struggling right now in this economy, but there are some people who are there are some openings that I've applied for, and hopefully I get them. Yeah.
okay, cool. Thanks. That's a very interesting introduction. I was not expecting that. I actually want to focus a little bit, like at least just to start with a little bit about uh your DJ career or prior DJ career, however you want to reference it as.
Okay.
How would you rank yourself? Because I mean, you mentioned this US tour, quite a big thing. Like out of, I don't know, like the DJs in Singapore, how would you rank yourself? Because and the reason for that is very simple. From a financial perspective, I'm just trying to get what it would take in relation to like how much you make, for example, or you roughly make, how much you get paid per gig, things like that, what it takes to do a tour. Yeah. So how would you rank yourself?
I think amongst working DJs, I've been the lower half because
Okay.
in working DJs wise, you have DJs that do clubs that make a lot of money, and then you have DJs who do clubs that make okay money, and then you got DJs who do bars who don't make money. So like for me, I'm like between the ones that does clubs and bars that makes okay money. Like on average, I think I make about three to four, and that's pretty dope. Like granted, I work like 3 days a week, but um yeah, if in comparison to some of my friends who make maybe like 1,000 a night or maybe 3,000 a night per gig, it's very little money. But then there's a disparity when it comes to creative arts. In any form of performance or performative art, you have like that 1% that makes like a shitload of money, and then you have
Yeah.
like everyone else who just makes barely enough.
Okay. Sure. How long were you DJing for?
I've been DJing for about 5 years. I started in 2015. I was 24 when I started DJing.
Okay. I mean, as you know, this is more of a financial perspectives. How has your income increased or decreased or moved generally in that last 5 years?
Well,
And
it's increased exponentially. When I started DJing in 2015. I was DJing for $20 for cab and a dinner.
oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta start somewhere, and performative arts doesn't pay very well when you're at the start. You really do it as a passion, and then
Okay.
it's kind of like art is subjective. Eventually, people like you enough that they pay you, but before that, like it's a maybe I won't pay you kind of thing.
Wow. Okay. But what would you attribute your increase in pay towards in the last 5 years? Yeah.
Actually, a lot of it is experience. No matter how good you are at
Mm,
any form of your art, no one is going to pay you what you deserve until you go out there
okay.
and start doing business. Like I can tell you, I know like I can count so many DJs who are much better than me who have not made as much money as I have. And I didn't make a lot. I made like I guess in my 20s, 3 to 4 a month is pretty decent. You know, it's just average. You know, in my mid to late 20s, especially doing something I love. But I have friends who make like double or triple that. But then I have friends who are so much better than me who don't even make close to half that amount because
So it's not
because
skill level.
it's not. I mean, your skill as a DJ plays a part, but your
Yeah.
skill as a businessman is like much more important. It's like how do I say this? Um Picasso has a saying: when you're an artist, you have to be a businessman first, and then then you become an artist. Otherwise, you will never live on your art because people will always take advantage of you. People will always try to be like, "Hey, can you do this for $20? Hey, could you do this for
Mm,
$50?" And then like when I'm playing at like 250 an hour, which is my rate now, um,
sure.
people are asking me,
Oh, nice.
"Dude, can you do it for like 50 an hour?" I'm like, I mean, I would still do gigs for 50 an hour for friends, you know, or like
Yeah,
like in the recent time when money is tight and events are getting cancelled, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know, as long as money in my pocket, I'll do it. You know, there's nothing wrong about taking a small gig, even if you're getting like 250, 500. I mean, it depends on the economy. If you're regularly getting $1,000 gig like every 2 days, and then it doesn't make sense for you to take a $50 gig, right? Yeah.
yeah, of
But
course.
if you're taking like but then like for me it's like I was doing like a 250 a day gig like for about 3 or 4 months, and then suddenly
Mm,
everything gets cancelled, and I'm just like, well, hey, you know, I'll do it for $50 because it's better than nothing.
sure. Yeah. But I am interested in this a little bit. Uh, because you mentioned that you have to be a business person first, you know, and what aspects of business are we looking at? Like how did you pick up certain business skills, and what business skills helped you bring your current, or what helped you to command a higher pay? Because I think even if it's not related to nightlife, I think there's a lot of people who hopefully they eventually watch this, they'll probably be wondering, okay, how do I take a business, especially in art, to something where initially I was getting paid $20 a night to $250 an hour.
Okay, so you go from how much money have I invested?
So,
Just like any other performative art, your equipment, your instrumentation, everything costs money. Your taxi costs money. Everything costs money. Sure, yeah. When you start, just covering your taxi fee, your taxi fare, and maybe dinner for a night is enough. Yeah, $50 a night. Yeah, that's more than enough. But eventually, as you grow up and as you move along in your career, I mean, with the exception of let's say a residency or something that you get paid daily, like let's say if you get paid $100 a day to gig for like 4 hours. Like I
okay,
would take that gig. That's a residency. So it means it's guaranteed money, you know. Then on occasion, yeah lah, if I let's say get a event outside that pays like 3 or 4 times, then I'll use that day's pay to hire someone else to do my work, you know. Then that's reasonable.
yeah,
So
sure.
but then like if you wanna go from like $20 a night to 250 an hour, quite quite straightforward. Like you gotta remember like how much time you've put into this. When I
Mm,
was going at $20 a night, I just started DJing. I started DJing for about 2, 3 months, and which honestly, $20 a night was already a lot better than like wherever anywhere else was gonna give me. Like nowhere else would even want me to play. Like I was so inexperienced that I literally just finished Mixes Happy. I just learned how to DJ. I had my Wigo 3 walking around that looked like a fucking toy. And then everyone's just like, yeah, you have like no one's kind of like no one's recommending you because no one knows you, and then like no one's ever seen you play. Your mixtapes are dope, but it's still like, you know, you're still too fresh. We're not gonna hire you for clubs and stuff like. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I can understand now. Like, yeah, you know, yeah, it's not worth it lah. So when you start out, no one's ever gonna give you that opportunity. So you take whatever you get, but then as you start investing more into yourself with a new computer, new
mm,
equipment, all that adds up. And then you'll be like, hey, okay, it cost me $30 to get here, it cost me $30 to go home, so I need to make at least 60 a night. And
yeah,
then I don't mind playing for like you know, like my raw cost for myself would be like maybe $10 an hour. And I'll be like, okay, I need to make like at least $100 tonight to like at least see that this night is worth the money that I've spent.
yeah,
So it depends on like how much you value yourself, because you have to understand that when it comes to things like performative arts,
mm,
premium comes at a cost, and premium's cost is not that people pay more, but that when you have premium, you lose volume. So you could be doing like maybe if you're like a $50 to $100 DJ a day, you could be doing maybe like close to 26, maybe 26 gigs. So that means you work almost every day.
Okay.
But then once you make that jump from $100 a day to $200 a day, you see that you're working like maybe 10 gigs, 10, 12 gigs. You
Oh,
lose a
why
bit
is that?
because when you're $100 a day DJ, people are more likely to hire you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, let me
Yeah.
ask you a question straight out. Like, look, if you were to run a D&D right now, would you
Yep.
go value for money or would you go for skill?
Isn't it didn't dance? I mean,
Yeah,
city and
like
D.
you're a financial advisor, right? So you have your
Yeah.
are you independent or you're a group?
I guess technically you could say independent, sure.
So okay,
Because
but
you
like let's
offer
say if you had your whole team,
service.
right? You were to
Sure.
do like
Okay.
a dinner and dance, and your whole team is like a few hundred people.
Yeah,
If
sure.
you hired a DJ,
Yeah.
would you hire the guy that could get the job done at $100, or would you hire the guy who would make your night memorable for $200?
Uh, if we're not impressing anyone on the guest list in particular, then
It's your own
if it's
people, mind you.
then it's absolutely the $100 thing.
See,
Yeah.
everyone has that mentality. Why you see, that's also why when you have that mentality,
Mm,
then you're not that's the fine line between prudent, uh value for money and stingy. Because if you're
okay.
talking about something like a D&D, that's a once a year event.
Yeah.
It is a special occasion. Why do you
Mm,
want to hire someone that can only get the job done? You should be hiring something and make it memorable. Then everybody like, hey, I can't wait for the next year. I'm gonna be so excited next year when I go to the D&D and stuff. So you see, that's the thing. Everyone has that. As long as it
mm,
works, I'm not gonna pay for more. But they forget that when you pay for more, you get quality, and
yeah.
when that quality increases, like the people who are on the receiving end
Mm,
of what you spent,
yeah.
the value you're gonna get out of that is a lot more.
Okay.
But a lot of business owners don't think that way. A lot of business owners is I want it as cheap as possible and as
Mm,
profitable as possible, and that's it. They forget
sure.
that quality comes along with the price.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's a very interesting assessment. Mm. You mentioned just now about, I mean, just to sidetrack a little bit more because I'm gonna ask you different things in a short while. But is it like you mentioned the bar and the club thing, and there's some differences for whatever reason, as well as you mentioned that you may be more on the lower end of your in relation to like let's say DJs or whatever. Uh, what like what does it take to get to a higher end, and why are some people still stuck at like so-called the bar stage? In fact, why is the bar stage even like paid lower for example? I have no clue.
Okay, bars don't make as much money as clubs, or at
Okay.
least that's what they like to say. The truth is, bars make way more money, and bar money is always more stable. So
Yeah, I also figured
A
that's
bar
true.
DJ would probably make about anything between 2.5 to 3 a month, and then a club DJ would probably make 3 to 4. The chances
Okay.
are clubs are more fun, more exhilarating, more exciting, but clubs are also very tiring, and clubs are very unstable. If the club does not make money, you will see DJs work for like 3 4 months and not get paid, which has happened
Okay.
to not just me but to a lot of other DJs as well. Where
Uh,
clubs just drag payments like crazy, and like you
well,
could be like, oh, but you could go to case, and I'm like, there's nothing you can do if they really don't want to pay you. You could send all the loyal letters in the world, but like that $12,000 that they owe you
mm,
is never coming back, because even if they pay you that money, you already spent that on lawyers.
yeah.
So it doesn't make sense, to like hire lawyers to go after that. Um, how do you get to the higher spectrum? Branding, I guess. Branding is very important, and also
Mm,
understanding like what kind of stuff you want to do. So, for example, we did an event with Gucci, and they paid $500 for 1 hour.
is that good?
That's
I
pretty good.
genuinely do not
That's
know.
pretty
Yeah.
good. That's like on the upper
Okay.
tier. Like
That's
like if
great.
you're at the high class, high pay tier, that's like right at the bottom of the high pay tier. And
Mm,
like even for me, I've done $600 an hour gigs, like private parties for rich people and stuff like that. It's definitely very possible. is not impossible to get, but you really don't get to know these people unless you go out. So like if you're a DJ and you're an introvert and you don't talk to people or you don't have someone that helps you talk to people, you're not getting any business. And even if you do get business, it's like it always feel like someone's throwing you a bone. Because
Oh,
if you
wow.
don't walk, if you don't walk the talk and you don't like go and like do the legwork, who will know that you're a DJ?
Mm.
You can always be like, oh, I'll let my art do the talking. But the truth is, I could go down the street, throw a stone, hit a random kid, and for all I know, that kid could be 10 times better than you. And he's just leisurely doing it for fun right now. And that's just the reality of it. Like
It's a
ninety
very
percent of the
interesting
time,
metaphor.
like 90%
Mm.
of the time, if you think you're good, there are always 10 or 20 people who are half your age who will be willing to do it for half your what you're demanding. And you have to always remember that there'll always be the new kid round the corner who will always be better than you, willing to do it
That,
at
that
half what you're asking for.
it's pretty good that you mentioned this because I was actually gonna ask, like, is it accurate to suggest that the lifespan of people in the nightlife occupation is like fairly short? Like, for example, like, do you anticipate DJing until you're 60? Like how white collar workers who work 9 to 5 jobs would probably, at least, even if they're hopping around a bunch, they would probably work till about yeah.
I'll probably DJ till I'm like 70. I'm not going to lie. I'm never gonna stop DJing. I might stop DJing as my main income, but I'll never stop DJing.
Of course, yeah,
And
sure.
I will never stop. I'll never stop like pursuing DJing as at least a side hustle. It'll always be one of my hustles. It may not be my main hustle because like even in recent terms, like I've been regulated to creating content for people as a full-time job.
Sure.
But I there's a lot of love there for that kind of work. But DJing, yeah, is something I will never stop doing. My pursuit for music was one of the reasons why I actually stopped working in advertising and PR in my early
Mm,
20s. Like straight out of school, I was working as a freelance agent to do PR for people, to do marketing and social media, and I quit so fast, like within 6 months. I was doing a good job, and then I quit. Um, I quit because music was calling me every day. Every day, that's all I could think about. All I could think about was what am I going to do? How am I going to get my music out there? And how am I going to become a performer? And it eventually paid off. I'm 29 this year.
mm,
But I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I have my own record label. I worked full time music for close to a decade.
yeah.
I've toured Asia. I've played in a major music festival as a build act, which is really, really important because there are a lot of performers that will go play a music festival and then their name doesn't even make the poster. So the fact
Uh,
that I made the poster is like a big deal to me.
yeah, it is.
And like I'm starting to work on touring, like planning for Europe and planning for US,
Mm,
which now thanks to Corona is not gonna happen. So I'll probably
sure.
aim for Australia and New Zealand first. Um, yeah. So I mean, everything I set out to achieve, I've achieved already. So that's why now I'm ready to throttle down on the oh my god, all I gotta do in life is music part of me, and like go and focus a bit more on hey, let's try other things. Let's see how far my creative skills can get me.
Mm, that's nice. But I mean, like, for for other nightlife like occupations, for example, even your friends, like, I don't imagine that they would share that length of sentiment, or is that just actually a very common thing? Because I've always seen like DJing or even people in the general nightlife profession. I've always seen it very much more like how I would financially analyze, like, for example, professional athletes. So I do see it as a specialty thing, but between like the night, like the fact that humans are not naturally nocturnal, and then whether there's like some kind of drinking involved, or if you guys have, yeah, like hearing issues or whatever that develop later. I always figured that it would have a very drastic effect on the lifespan of that particular occupation. I'm not sure if you
Um,
feel other people in your profession have felt this way
okay,
as
I'll
well.
tell you one thing. So there's this guy. His name is the party man. He's an MC and the entertainment director, former entertainment director of Attica. I think he's still the entertainment director.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
and
sure.
his name is the Party Man.
The party man. We all know him as the
Alright,
party man. His
the
real name is
Party Man.
Clifford. He is
Okay.
pushing 60 and he's still in nightlife.
Oh wow.
He can MC, he can DJ, and he is energetic enough to keep up with the youngsters. He plays for F Club Attica, which is one of the few places where like all the young punks like to go.
That's true.
So yeah, like the age
I
group
remember.
for F Club Attica is like 18 to 22. And like even when
Yes.
I go in at 29 and I open a bottle of table there, I feel like I'm the oldest man there. It's so weird. I look like everyone else, but I'm old. Yeah, so I mean you have cases like Clifford, and then I have some friends who have damaged their hearing while DJing because they don't protect their ears.
Mm,
um I don't. I protect my ears. I wear my headphones all the time. So if I'm in clubs, I keep these, and I wear Bluetooth headphones at home when I go out. I keep my Bluetooth set inside my ear, so it just protects me in general. Um,
good.
what I am able to do, like what I can say is like yes, I think a lot of a lot of things like in nightlife, it is you have a short lifespan. You usually when you work in music, your lifespan is about 10 years. I'm like pushing that boundary really. And like for me, of course, my lifespan as an artist is not over. It's far from over. I could be an artist till the day I die.
Yeah.
But have I passed my prime? The question should be, have I passed my prime as an artist?
Okay.
Yes and no. Yes, because I'm not 20 anymore. And if I was 20, I would have another 10 years to like be in my prime. But no, because that wasn't the kind of artist I wanted to be in the first place.
Mm,
I always wanted to be like something like Fatboy Slim, where like I make music, people like, people don't like, never mind, that kind. And then if I'm successful, I'm successful. If I'm not, I'm not. But of course, I
mm.
still want to play big parties, lah, you know. And so I'll still do like a few commercial things here and there. But that's where this is the crux of the matter. In Singapore, we see we hardly see people move up into management. Everyone wants to stay a performer or a DJ, but not everyone is willing to move in and stay as and go up and become a manager.
Okay.
So if you don't make way for youngsters who are going to be better than you, then how are the youngsters going to make money? How will art flourish? What is the next generation? Then you cannot tell me
Mm,
that, oh yeah, no, we have to be um selective about who gets to succeed, which is I can see where that mentality comes from. But if you do that, then I guess as an industry, you suffer. Because how do you know whether or not someone is going to be successful from the little that they've done? Then you're only picking up like 2% that was lucky enough to get through,
mm.
instead of the maybe the 50% of them who would be so important and who would change lives, which is kind of one of the things we do at DJ Center. We find talent, we groom them, we develop them, and then we give them the opportunity to shine. We built the whole structure of DJ Center was built around the idea that we as a team are there to develop the next generation. So that's one of the things that so far that we've done as a team, that I felt that helped me shape my perspective a lot on how I look at the nightlife industry.
Wow.
And so to answer your question, yes, I do believe nightlife industry lifespans are short, but the people in Singapore are like 老不死 kind, so they are old and they will never die.
Okay.
So that's why even till now, actually, yeah, even till until quite very recently, if you went to Clarke Quay, if you go see all the name of all the resident DJs of all the different clubs, the club changed name, but the resident DJ never changed name. Oh my god, I can't believe I
Oh,
said that. I think
that's fine.
can we cut that part out?
I think we should keep that. Oh, but it's cool, I honestly I didn't know so much of this, so it's very interesting to me.
I mean it's not a like I mean I gotta make sure, like, okay, it's not a bad thing, and yes, no one should be forcing each other out, but really like there's not enough like upwards mobility. And like upwards mobility is also, but then you can't blame them either because you have to think about it this way. Um, you after you're a DJ, what do? You the amount you make as a DJ is not enough to start a business. And DJ schools, we have a limited population. So if these people, they want to be pursuing their passion even into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, there's no harm in that. And okay, like okay, I have to like kind of set the balance here. There are people who are much older who are also making way for the younger generation and who have invested a lot of time to help develop the younger generation. One would be my teacher Mass. He has helped me a lot. Another name I would like to bring up is Chris Columbus from Group of DJs. He has also brought up a lot of people. Raw from Pandemic, Jeremy Gemstar from Ministry of DJs, like all these people. And then you have people like the Marquee team who actually they brought up this DJ called Zippy where no one knew him, but he came out of nowhere and now he's one of the residents of Marquee and that guy is killing it every night. Zook has also done their fair share of like developing the younger generation as well. I mean, of course, you have certain DJs, I don't want to say who like they die also don't want to change club. They die also don't want to make way. But then, of course, you have all those people that I mentioned, and then a few other people who maybe it hasn't crossed my mind for their name, haven't crossed my mind yet, who has also done their fair share to develop younger DJs. So yeah, to balance it out, in case people take my words out of
Sure,
context.
that's fine. For DJs, I mean, so aside from this DJ center that you're doing with your team, friends, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're both team and friends. So
Okay, cool. So aside from DJ center, like, how are you earning money currently? I know you mentioned you're doing content creation now.
um
How's that going? What's that exactly?
well, for us right now, most of what we're doing is hold on,
Yeah, no problem.
we're doing a lot of online events and online sites.
Okay, how's that go?
It's doing okay. Uh, we have
No, so
students.
like, how's that work? I mean, like,
Okay. How does that work? Basically, we run through Zoom, lor.
oh, nice. So you
Yeah,
can teach DJing through Zoom,
yeah, we
pretty much
teach
like how
DJing
they're
through
doing.
Zoom. Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. I imagine that's a little trickier than like a standard education curriculum.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean it's
wasn't
a
sure.
lot
I
more.
wasn't
It's a
sure
lot trickier.
what I meant. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Sorry, give
Yeah,
me a moment. So
no worries, no
thirsty.
worries.
Ah,
How many minutes are we on?
I don't know. I haven't been checking. 36.
Ah,
Wow. Yeah.
this is a nice long interview, man.
That's good. I mean, I'm having a good time. I'm learning a lot.
Mm.
Oh. I remember actually, before this interview, you were telling me that you've been working hard for 5 years and basically you save no money. Um, which of course as a consultant is just kills me a little bit inside. But I heard, I mean, recently I think you mentioned that you've been saving money. Like what changed?
I had a girlfriend.
Oh, that's nice. And when did this happen?
Sometime in December. Actually, no, I was dating even before that. I had another girlfriend, but I broke up with that girlfriend and I got together with this girl. I'm not shy about it, and I'm willing
Yeah,
to
of
admit
course.
it. I'm the bad guy in the story, so it's okay. Um, but yeah, like how do I say this? Like the my new girlfriend, she's very instrumental because um I it has a lot to do with changing the way I wanted to live. Previously, I really don't care. Like I mean, I'm that kind of guy that if have money, good law, no money, swallow. You know, I'm not a stickler for like riches or stuff. I'm not a material person. I'm good with what I have, and I'm good with living day to day. I'm content as long as I can constantly create and do new things. I'm an experience driven person, not a material driven person. So my new girlfriend was like, "Hey, together. So she never forced me to save, and she never like kind of like be like, you must save, you must do this, you must do that. Thank God she's not like that, because if she was like that, I probably would have like have issues with that. Because I don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, sure. Who does?
But and then it struck me in my head that, hey, I want to build a future with this person,
Mm,
and I really, really, really want to have a family with her. And having a family means having money. It means at least having a baseline where you're safe and being
yeah.
comfortable. So that changed my mentality, where like I stopped drinking as much, I stopped partying as much, I started saving a lot more.
Wow.
I cut my costs by almost like 75%. So that I'm actually spending about like maybe a few $100s a month right now, even before the whole circuit breaker.
What were
Like
you
for
spending before that?
maybe about 1,008, like
Oh,
just drinking and eating, grabbing, buying things, being extravagant, being
mm,
bougie with myself, with as much as I could. But then when I got together with this girl, I cut it down to like $500. Like my phone bill is like $100, because
yeah.
I have a lot of like I have unlimited data and all that kind of shit, and I'm going to change that to GoMo soon. Um, and then I stopped taking Grab unless absolutely
Mm,
necessary. I started taking bus a lot. I started eating at home instead of going out to eat. Meaning I eat early and
wow.
then I starve myself all the way until I get home again.
Uh,
Or sometimes if I'm at work, work will provide food. Or if I'm really, really hungry, I spend like $3 on fruits. That kind of thing.
oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
so
Oh,
I
nice
went
as well.
I went from so I lost weight, I saved money, um, I became healthier, I became happier. Um yeah, so that changed a lot. Like I entered a different stage of my life. I entered a stage of my life
Nice.
where now I want to have a future with my partner. Whereas previously, like the idea of a future with a partner was great, but I never really worked towards it. So it was kind of like my own feelings. You know, I mean I made enough money to save. If I really wanted to save, I could have saved that money, but no use crying over spilled
That's okay.
milk. No use crying over spilled milk. So I'm just gonna I'm happy where I am now. Even though I'm
Mm.
barely making any money right now, I'm still finding ways to save at least $100 a month right now. Even in this situation where I'm making like $300 a month. So it's insane. Like, you know, I have started to spend so little that, yeah.
That's really great, man. Yeah, I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Mm. Uh, what do you think? I mean, you can just wrap this up. What are your goals working towards the end of 2020? Like, what are things that you want to accomplish?
My goal in 2020 is get a job. Like that's the
Okay.
first thing. Get a full-time job. Working creative content, because I realized that I find a lot of joy in creating content. I find a lot of joy writing, doing Photoshop,
Mm,
doing media and stuff. And I'm not bad at it. Like I'm not the best, but what you pay for is what you get. Like I'm as good as your every other fresh grad, and I come with a whole set of skills. So
mm.
I'm just looking for a job in content creation right now, and then that will be able to, at least if I can start now. Now it's already May. Maybe my first paycheck will be in the end of June. Um, it'll be pretty dope lah. Like, you know, first paycheck, CPF, all that kind of shit, and then like by the time 2020 comes out and the new BTOs are out, I can like go and like apply for my BTO with my girlfriend.
Wow,
Like we're already at that stage. Yeah. So house, family,
that's nice, man.
friends. Yeah,
Shit. Okay.
gotta get ready to get married. You know, that kind of thing.
Okay. I'm really looking forward to what she has to say about that. But yeah,
Dude,
great,
you're
man.
definitely coming for the wedding, man.
Oh, that's nice. Uh, oh, Kenny's wedding was fun, interesting.
Kenny's wedding was interesting.
It really was. Yeah. Hey, anyway, thanks, man. I really appreciate your time. Uh,
Yep.